If you look at an old Savannah map, this church doesn't even have steeples. It went 20 years without steeples. They finally get steeples. 2 years later, everything burns down except for the steeples and a couple walls. During the fire, the nuns that were here came outside and started to pray. The wind changed direction, saved their nunnery. This is the mother house of 20 other hospitals, schools, orphanages, including St. Mary's and St. Joseph. Sisters of Mercy. They just got air conditioning not too long ago for the first time in over 200 years. I always wonder why their skirts were so short. Just kidding. A little Catholic school. They all want to get married at that cathedral. I heard there's a waiting list. Their name on the list before they're even engaged. Once we pass these trees, these are just 3 different species of magnolia. That tower is a jail from the 1800s. And this is the oldest cemetery in Savannah, Colonial Park Cemetery. It was filled up by the 1850s and then neglected for 15 years. And then here comes Sherman on this march to the sea. They already had a new cemetery, Bonaventure, so this one was neglected. Savannah surrendered to Sherman and told him to keep his horses in there. So he had thousands of horses that got itchy and scratchy and was scratching their itches on the tombstones. Yeah. The tombstones got knocked over and crushed. But they have been pieced back together and mounted on the back wall by the Daughters of American Revolution after the war. There used to be a wall back here, but they tore it down to make room for the houses, put a new fence, did not move the graves. We've been rolling over the cemetery this whole time. They just moved the fence. They did bake silver into the bricks on the sidewalk, so when the sun and the moonlight hit it, it looks like trickling water to ghost-proof the whole neighborhood. First fire station, still operational, 1850s. Behind the flags over there is the original fire bell. They even rang it to welcome home the veterans of the Spanish-American War.
Yeah.
So back when they only had 6 squares, they would ring the bell in a numerical code so people would know what square to show up to fight fires with buckets of water. The bucket brigade. And back then, there was no such thing as voluntary firefighting. If you were a male civilian and didn't participate in the bucket brigade, you got arrested. So not only were the Union horses in there, the Union soldiers were in there camping. They were young, they were bored, so when their horses knocked over and crushed the tombstones, they started changing the dates as a joke. So you go to the back wall and read the piece together tombstones, it looks like people lived to be 500. They died before they were born. The mayor was only 11, just silly thing. Even Button Gwinnett's buried in there. He was the youngest signer of the Declaration of Independence. There's the stones on the wall. This is a historical police station, 1870s. And in the 1800s, an African folk artist whittled this out of wood. A real police officer modeled for this, and then they cased it. But it's lest we forget. All those are fallen officers' names in the line of duty, and there's space on the back to add modern time officers if they fall in the line of duty. And canine officers are added, which is cute. So it is the weekend. Later tonight, you might see some mounted police horses. The horses themselves have their own police badges. Yeah, these are big police horses. They're draft horses. They're not normal drivers. So even in the beginning of the colony, when they started putting warehouses on the river street, they put them in the curvature of the river. So it'd be like an organic flow. And that's why our medians are so much bigger than in other cities. They're like parks in themselves, just to keep that organic flow, even when there's modernization here and there. There's more oleander. And as we turn the corner, you'll notice a historical square that has a basketball court. It's interesting. Several Harlem Globetrotters are from Savannah. Sweet Georgia Brown, Sugar Bear Cavers, Gator Rivers, all from Savannah. So when they put the Civic Center down, they lifted this old kindergarten and moved it to the square to save it. Free kindergarten, very unique, free to all in the early 1800s. Now they do yoga and interpretive dance.
I see them dancing.
Oh, it was, wasn't it Lady and the Tramp?
Yep.
It was featured in Lady and the Tramp. The live action movie Lady and the Tramp. Yeah. It's amazing. I thought it would be terrible, but I was crying 5 minutes in. So Green Square has the second African Baptist church. In 1802, Reverend Henry Cunningham and 25 other African Baptists started up the second African Baptist church. So that's where General Sherman read Field Order 15, the 40 acres and a mule to the newly freed men. And then when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was on his way to D.C. to give his I Have a Dream speech, he stopped in Savannah and gave that speech as the sermon in the church. So the first time anyone ever heard the I Have a Dream speech was at the Second African Baptist Church over there. Red oleander, cute little cottage, red cottage over there, historical marker. But technically this is the Fort District. So first it was the English Fort Halifax. There were traders on this river 20 years before Oglethorpe even got here. So if you wanted rum, this is the area you would find it. Not the city, outside the city here. So if you were a sailor, you'd come over here, you'd find a tavern, you'd drink your rum, you'd fall asleep at the tavern. But when you woke up, you were already out at sea on a pirate ship when you woke up. They would tell you you can give 2 years service on the ship or swim home. You can make it to Tybee Island in about half an hour, but it's only 15 miles. You might just get in some traffic. This goes all the way to Tybee Island. President Street turns into Highway 80. And President Street used to be King Street before the American Revolution. They actually had a parade down President Street with the American Revolutionary veterans on America's 50th birthday. So the Pirate's House is around the corner. There's tunnels from the rum cellar that lead to the river. That's how sailors were Shanghai. Secret tunnels from the rum cellars. The Pirate's House is the oldest house in Savannah, 1754. It inspired the book Treasure Island. Robert Louis Stevenson stayed at the Pirate's House, and he was listening to all the local folklore about pirates and was inspired to write Treasure Island. His name is on the marker out front. One of our Grave Encounters ghost tours tonight does include dinner at the Pirate's House. And after dinner, they lead you into the haunted rum cellar.